Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and I hope you guys can hear me pretty well. I'm outside actually doing this because everybody's asleep in my house, but I've gotten so many messages on Facebook and text messages from friends and comments on my YouTube page that I thought, well, we gotta talk about this now. So I just got back home from work and everything, and I read about this when I was at work a little bit. So let's talk about this. So I wasn't originally going to talk about this topic when DN originally got shut down. As you can see on the screen, you see for legal reasons, dual network has been taken offline until further notice. I apologize for the inconvenience. The main thing we care about is it says note that the third party requested takedown was not Konami but another authorized party. If we go over to DevPro here, now I don't have YGOPRO. I use DevPro. Lucky me. It says, in regards to DN and YGOPRO being taken down by NAS, we have no idea / when they will come for us, or even if they have grounds against us. Just enjoy one of the few places you can play Yu-Gi-Oh! And blah 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 blah. So, pretty much what's this mean here? This means that, well, first off, DevPro hasn't, gotten anything to take their things down, which is good. But that all can change in a day or two. By tomorrow morning, 10 hours later, we could be waking up and screaming that there's no place to duel online. Which sucks. I mean, it really does. Me, being in this game as long as I have, and being a competitive player before there was a DN, even because DN was the first server, really, I remember those times before, we had Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro and DevPro and DN. I mean, the main way you did things really was you freaking either had your little game console, your DS or your Game Boy Advance, and you would test your decks online. You have to start with a crappy deck and try to build your deck that way. The way I used to do it is because I used to have a Game Shark and a DS cheat code thing. Is I would put my game in there, get all the card, buy all the money I could in the game, and just buy all the packs. And eventually, I would accumulate all the cards. After doing it for like 30 minutes, it took me about 15 to 20 minutes. Really, 30 sometimes. Sometimes the packs just wouldn't come to me. But yeah, that's how I used to get and play Yu-Gi-Oh! And then also the main way was the old-fashioned way where you freaking went into locals 1 or 2 times a week. You sat down, you tested, you tested, you tested, you tested. I can't do that anymore. As a player, I cannot physically do that anymore. I don't have the time, I don't have the resources. Now, as far as if you're wondering how this will affect my channel, I don't know. It won't affect my channel directly because I really don't do DevPro, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, DN duels unless I am doing um, duels, on Twitch, streaming for you guys once in a while. That's the only way it affects me. It affects me playtesting, but I'm still able to build good decks because I'm a pretty good deck builder um, when I put my mind to it. So it doesn't really affect me. I can usually build a deck pretty well, and then I just go test it a couple times one night at locals, and then I pretty much can revamp it, retool it and everything. So it's not a big hit to me because I don't rely upon this. But the people like Lithium and other players out there like that have channels revolving around these programs, it is a severe hit and almost a death blow to them, which sucks. And it really does. There's no way I can say it. There's no silver lining on this. It sucks. Now, I don't know if Konami is going to come out with a new Yu-Gi-Oh game. I keep hearing this over and over again. But we have no date of when this is going to come out. We have no idea what this is going to be like. And I can tell you for certain, it probably won't be as good as we hope it is. If history is an indicator of anything, it will not. How would this shutdown affect the Yu-Gi-Oh community as a whole? It won't affect those guys that have a locals near them. So what I'm trying to say is it won't affect you if you have a locals near you as much, but it will affect you no matter what. So it will affect me. Why and how? For a competitive player, when you're building and testing against the meta, one thing you want to do is you want to test other decks out. You want to test the other decks that you don't own. You want to test the other decks that you don't own because the fact of the matter is How can I describe this? Uh, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I have somebody looking at me right now. They're wondering why I'm outside because they're all asleep. I don't want to wake them up. My girlfriend's parents. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're a competitive player, what you're trying to do is, you will have your main deck that you play. So say you play Cosmos, but you want to play test that deck against, Monarchs. Well, you may want to play Monarchs because it's another meta deck, so you understand their play style, how they work. You may want to play other decks because you get understand how they work and everything. That's what you do. You test out other decks. You know how they work. You test the meta decks out so you can refine and hone your skills. And doing that at locals and having to go to locals is a pain in the butt sometimes. I mean, I love my locals, but it is a pain in the butt when you're trying to play test. For regionals or YCS that's coming to town, it's a pain in the butt. And with these sites coming down, it really affects the competitive community. Maybe not that much the casual community. It will affect them, but it's affecting the competitive community a lot in the way that they do things, and they've done things for the last 5 years. Of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5 to 6 years, excuse me. It's going to affect them. They're going to have to find other ways. Now, I know people like Patrick Gaming say that he does 40 hours a week of freaking playtesting in real life. Not everybody can do that. A lot of people, when they get home from work, they get on DN, they get on DevPro, just like me and you, and they just play that way. So it will affect the community. Is it the death knell for Yu-Gi-Oh? A part of me wants to say no, and a part of me wants to say yes. And the optimist I am wants me to say yes inside of me. The optimist person inside me says yes. This will sort itself out. People are just grabbing all their torches and pitchforks and freaking out, as the Yu-Gi-Oh community has done in the past when a broken card gets announced or something of that nature. Spellbook of Judgment or a Sixth Sense type of card comes out. A couple of years ago, people freaked out over that. But this feels a lot different. This is affecting, and it's affecting YouTubers because that's what they mainly focus on is doing online. Not that many YouTubers I know still have the time to go to locals and record videos. There's very few and far between. It will affect the YouTube community a lot. There's no two ways about it. However, I feel that there will eventually, somebody will find some way to get another server up maybe. Or Konami's got to do something about this. I mean, this game that's coming out has to be really good. And if it's like a Hearthstone type of game, I haven't played Hearthstone, but I've played it a little bit online, but on my friend's computer. But if it's like that, that's fine. You just have to pay a monthly subscription. You get all the cards. It's updated. You have different options. Yeah, that's great. But the problem is there's no history of Konami ever making a decent Yu-Gi-Oh game. There are exceptions. There are some exceptions to that rule, but they never update them, and that is the problem. It's not the fact that they're not good, it's the fact that they never update the servers. And if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be sitting here freaking out and contemplating. If we could look to the past and say, oh, the last two Yu-Gi-Oh games Konami made, they didn't have a lot of microtransactions, they gave us all the cards we need, they updated it, we wouldn't be talking about this right now. We'd be like, oh, okay, we were expecting this to happen eventually. But the problem is there's no history of Konami doing that. But if they do it, great. This is just, everybody freaking out. But it's going to have an immediate impact right now because people are just freaking out and want to quit the game. It is the worst time to do this because you're having worlds, and not worlds, but you're just having nationals coming out, in like a week or two of testing? Now, probably you got all your testing in, but still. You got all these, European nationals, all this going on shortly, and this happens. Another thing, I don't know, but I know in the OCG they have very similar programs to what we have over here in the TCG. So they have programs like, if you ever subscribe to Yu-Gi-Oh! Singapore, you know what I mean, YGO Singapore, on Facebook. They show replay. They have their own DevPro, their own Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro over there. Now, my $1,000,000 question here is, are those servers getting shut down right now? Are they? Because if those are not getting shut down, I know there's different laws, laws that, different, it's two different regions, it's two different places in the world, has two different completely laws, but it would be a real crime, I feel like, if they are being, the OCG still has their depot, their DN, whatever, and we are getting the brunt of it because all laws are different. It would be a crime. I think that's just wrong. It will kill Yu-Gi-Oh! In the TCG, but the OCG Yu-Gi-Oh! Will probably survive if it's still up and running, because they probably, even though we're two different places in the world, they still function the same way we do. We're all humans. We all put on the same pants. You know what I mean? So yeah, those are just some of my thoughts. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk about. I've talked about the impact. I think it's going to affect. I don't think it's going to affect me that much. I am concerned about a couple of things, but I mean, I'll find a way. Like Winston Churchill said, we shall fight in the beaches, we shall fight in the streets, we shall fight in the fields, we shall never give up. And that's the same way I can feel about Yu-Gi-Oh! However, I can also admit that I know for a fact my views of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos have gone down just in general. And I know I've been not making, I've been making a lot more content, but still, the views and everything overall since April or March, if you look on my YouTube page, like my settings, it has gone down drastically. Ever since the last ban list was announced, my Yu-Gi-Oh! Views have gone down like a tank. Like they tanked. And I thought, well, maybe it's the content I'm making. Maybe it's not good. Well, it doesn't seem to be that. It seems like there's just a drop in Yu-Gi-Oh! Lately. And that compounded with the bad meta. Pretty much what I'm saying here is it's a domino effect going on right now. With the meta that people don't like, with the fact of a ban list that people didn't like, with the fact of this happening online, and everything compounded with, everybody's just like freaking out. It's just causing a lot of problems in the community as a whole. And the fact that I don't know how some YouTubers out there are going to function really sucks. But where there's a will, there's a way, and if they really want to try it, hey, there's other ways you can do Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos. I know it's going to suck we can't do dual videos, but you can do in real life videos like I've seen on other channels before. And what I'm trying to do, luckily the last couple of months, and it's one of the reasons why I started trying to do live views, because I had a feeling after I heard, when DN originally got the flag content thing, even though they had the other server thing set up, it sent a red flag out to me, and it said something like this could happen, this dire scenario. So I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket, and luckily I did not. So hopefully in the future I can work out with more live tools and everything. But still, I'm only one man. This is not just affecting me. This is affecting everybody. And even if you do not play online a lot, this will affect you indirectly, either for the amount of people that may come to your locals, or how many people will do your regionals, or how many people just play Yu-Gi-Oh! In general. It will affect us. And it sucks. And I don't want to say this is the death of Yu-Gi-Oh! It really concerns me. And, I mean, I think the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community is very resilient, and it will find a way, but it concerns me. And I can't say it doesn't. It worries me a little bit, but, I've heard rumors that people are hypothesizing that after Arc V, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series will end. I could see that happening, but I'm hoping it doesn't. We won't know till probably April of next year if that's going to happen, but it worries me because I enjoy doing this and I don't want to see it end. So I hope. Luckily, I have a good Yu-Gi-Oh! Community around me that's only about 30 minutes away from my house, to an hour away from my house. So that's not too bad. But for other people that I know are more rural areas, it's going to affect them immensely. And it's going to shut down the community. And it just sucks. It sucks. Because a lot of this, I want to see new blood coming into my locals. I want to see new blood in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I love seeing older guys play Yu-Gi-Oh! But I want to see new blood coming into the game, because that affects, when there's new blood coming into a game, that means the game will survive. If there's just old blood, it's not going to survive. Because eventually they will grow out of it. And that's a problem. That scares me. That will happen to Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's just slowly dying now. Now, people will probably comment down in the comment section, oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is already dying. It's been dying for years. It's dying. It's dead already now. This is the last thing. I'm not that type of guy to say that because I've seen stranger things happening in my life. Sorry, the air conditioning kicked on, but I've seen stranger things happen. So I don't want to say this is the death nail, and I've seen the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community bounce back from bad formats and bad things that Konami's done. So I'm optimistic. But there's still a part of me that's concerned. And that is all I'll say about this. I'm very concerned and I'm very scared, but I'm optimistic. Only time shall tell. What shall happen? Only time will tell, guys. So, guys, till next time, take care. Have fun dueling. Good luck dueling if you can online. I'll see you guys next time. Tell me what you think about this entire debacle. Take care, everybody. And good night.